So as I'm getting ready for this show, I haven't been doing a lot of turning. So this video is going to be another heading video, and I'm going to do the Flapover stretch that I was talking about last week. This is the drum I'm going to do. This is ash. I think it's 12 and a half. Make that 13 and a half. And really heavy. It weighs 24 pounds, I believe. I had it on the scale yesterday, but I scaled several drums, so it was one of the heavier ones. But ash is a real heavy wood, so that figures. So give me a second to adjust the camera on the bottom end here, and then I'll show you how we're going to start setting this up. Okay, so last week you might have noticed this little deal. Okay, this is just a block of wood. In this case it's walnut, and then I have 4 holes drilled in it, and then these dowels are slightly tapered because they fit really tight if they're not, and you want to be able to pull them out fairly easily. So this lets me keep a bit of a gap between the bearing edge of the drum and the ring, and when we're going to do a well, I call it a snap-in set, which means we're going to take the flesh ring, once the skin's on it, and we're going to drawstring the skin to it and then snap it through this ring onto the drum. There's a trick to it, but it can be done. So, but this will keep us spaced out a little bit while we run the verticals. All right, so let's get it going. I always try to keep the knots from tying the rings in the same line on the drum. I think I'm going to switch y'all up to time lapse, because this part you've seen before. So I know right now it looks like there's not enough, but when I start pulling this thing down, it's going to be like plenty. I'll have 5 or 6 feet of excess, which can be used to tie diamonds later on. So this bottom ring fits real tight, so right now it's actually a good 1/2 inch from where it needs to be. So as I pull this tight, that bottom ring will seat, and when it does, it's going to give me a 1/2 inch at every single vertical. Well, there's 27 cradles on this drum, so that's going to be 27 inches, because it's a 1/2 inch times 2 on each vertical. So yeah, that's almost 3 feet by itself. So anyway, the skin is in soaking, and once it's done soaking, I'll be back to start putting it on. All right. Okay, so there's our hide, hair on, and we're going to start by poking little holes all the way around the outside of it, and then I'm going to run the string all the way around it like a drawstring, and then draw it up on top. And I'm going to leave myself plenty of extra string, and I want my holes about 1/2 to 3/4 away from the edge, and about every 2 to 3 inches on perimeter. I don't want them too close to the edge, because later on I'm going to use those to hold the Flapover down. And if they're too close to the edge, when I put the pressure on them, they're going to rip out. is in the flesh, so to speak. Now what we want to do is kind of shift it around and try to get our border here fairly even all the way around. That's pretty close right there. I'm going to tighten that up a bit more. That looks pretty close. Alright, we'll set the drum up. Okay. So you can see the little spider thing still in there. Now I can pull these out. And I know when I pull this up, I'm going to be just above the top of the drum. Nice. Alright. Now we're going to snap a ring into it. This may go off camera in the process of this because it's kind of a wrestling match. Or it might not. So there we're in. Now I want to find my backbone, which is right here, which is where all my knot work is going to be. So I want my spine of the goat skin, so I want the front at the knots. Because ideally you play the drum on the back side like you're petting the goat with the fur when you're playing it. So of course there won't be any fur on it when we get to that point. Alright, so now we can just start pulling her down lightly. Now, for a moment, I'm going to undo this string so I can go through and pull all my wrinkles. I want new wrinkles. You especially don't want wrinkles between the rings, but coming up out of the knots, you're bound to get some. Which is okay. Alright. Now, if this was just a short, I'd just cut it right now, right at the ring. But I'm not doing that. There's been a lot of talk on the djembe repair sites on Facebook and such about these Flapover designs, or Flapover terminations. And so I thought I'd just show you mine. It is not the way to do it, it is a way to do it. I've seen some ways on there that actually look really good. The guy's got the hydraulic press and the strings running down to the base and lifts the drum up and pulls the flap down. It looks like it'd work, but that's not how I do it. So mine doesn't require a hydraulic press. So now I want to stretch this a bit more before I cover up all my ropes, because it's still, as you can see, really soft. So I need to set up the Porta Puller and move the camera around so you can see what I'm doing, and I'll be right back. Alrighty then. So got the Porta Puller out. Set the drum up there. And we're going to start pulling. And the dog is going nuts because Dad just got home. There we go. So, I'm going to put you back up on the table here. Be back in a sec. And away we go. So, now everything's up here on top. Now everything's stretched out up here on top, I mean. I'm going to undo my little knot here, maybe. And maybe not. I think I tied it too good. There we go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this end and actually tie it to the skin right here. for the square knot. And then I'm pulling the string out the rest of the way. I didn't leave myself enough skin, by the way, so I'm going to do this, but I'm probably going to end up trimming this off a lot higher than I normally would because I didn't leave myself enough skin. So I'm going to use my little makeshift needle, and if I need to I can bend this. It's just a nail. So a lot of guys go down to a table. I say a lot of guys. I know that Jason from Jason's Drums does this because he's posted pictures of his press and it's pretty damn cool. However, although I have a bottle jack, I've never built the press. So what I do is tie into the lower ring with the thread that I just used as a drawstring. And I have more thread, so when I do not make it all the way around, I will add another piece. These holes are actually stretched out enough. I'm just going to, well, I'm going to tie a light knot here so that it'll quit coming out of my needle. Okay, so then after you got them all sewed down, you go through and tighten it just like you do a drum head, pretty much. Okay, so keep in mind as you're pulling those down, don't pull so tight that they rip out. I mean, you want them to stretch open pretty good. And once you've got that all done, you can kind of feel around it and make sure it's not got any major ripples. and then ace bandage. And that's how it will sit for at least overnight, probably more like 2 days. And then I will peel off all the strings, trim the bottom of it. I tend to go right to the bottom of the knots on the tension ring, because I like to be able to get my grips on the ropes when I'm tuning it. And when the skin's way down here, that's kind of a pain in the ass. So I don't do that. But anyway, normally I do leave myself more skin than what I left here to play with, but it lets me get a smoother flap over. But all in all, should work. I guess I should show you this part. We don't generally leave the hair on the drum. So when I was down in Florida a long time ago at a festival, I met Shorty Palmer, and he showed me this trick. It only works with Bic razors because they're the only ones that you can break the guard off of, like so. And I have no sandpaper. Give me the moment. So once you've got the guard off, a little piece of sandpaper, and you're going to knock just the corner off. And then, if I lay that down, can you see it? Not really. Let's adjust the camera here. There we go. I'm sure anybody who knows Shorty and has met him when he was working on a fur-on hide drum knows this trick. Quit. Next time. So somebody had sent me a message asking about if I would show how this thing does on a dry pole, putting full tension on a drum. And I started doing this and then realized, hey, I should be making a video on this. And since I'm not going to be making a video next weekend, I'm doing a second video this weekend, was not a bad idea. So, let me get set back up here. There we go. So this thing, it seems to be holding up pretty good overall. I've had some issues with the pulley, and I replaced it with a heavier pulley, and I drilled the inside and put 1/4-inch steel rod through it, because that was the issue, is they had aluminum axles in them, and I just popped an axle, the pulley went flying. It was actually quite humorous. And then the other issue I had is I was using a eye bolt down here, and I had welded the gap where it bends around and touches. I had bent it sideways, put the pulley on, bent it back, and then welded it. I actually broke one of those, stretched it out, broke the weld. So now I've got a U-bolt that goes down through a metal plate that'll keep it from pulling the U together from the top side, and then it goes down through another metal plate, and that metal plate on the bottom actually goes all the way across up here, so it disperses all the weight distribution. So I think I finally got everything on the pulley worked out, but eventually I want to be able to make these and sell them. I'm actually got a fellow in California that has actually ordered one, and I'm going to ship it to him in a few days. It's already made, but I want to try and get all the upgrades done before I send it to him, so that we don't have to have it shipped back and forth. But you know, there's just sometimes unforeseen stuff. But I never thought in a million years I'd break my weld on my eye bolt. So it does just fine even on a dry pole. I'm starting to get some slack there, so I didn't go all that far before I actually, not just that, before I actually stopped to turn the camera on. Oh yeah. I think it's tuned without diamonds. Alright, well, hope that answers the question. It does tune a dry drum.